Hi friends, welcome again to the 13th part of this tutorial for beginners in Revit. This time we will cover schedules, and then we will see how we can prepare a sheet for printing. Let's start. Schedules. In the next chapter, we will talk about schedules. Schedules are an essential part in Revit, and as you know, Revit uses BIM technology, building information modeling, and schedules are a very organized way to display project information as well as estimation of costs of the materials. In this tutorial, we will cover the basics in schedules so you can start making your own tables. Let's have this example again of this two-story house. Here I have already inserted rooms and furniture, and first we are going to create a schedule to display all the rooms along with their areas. Let's click here on the project browser in Schedules and Quantities with the right button, and then click on New Schedule. In the window that has just opened, we need to select a category for the schedule. As you can see, we have a considerable variety of topics to choose. I go for rooms. Then this is the name of the new schedule, and I can change it to a personalized one if I wish. Then below we have phase. And what is this? This is related with the phases of construction in a project. Sometimes we have an existing building which we want to perform a change. For example, demolish some walls and build new ones. In this example, as we suppose this is a new construction, we keep this option. Also, this is important to know. The phase is specified in all the elements we model in our project, and by default that is set as new construction. Therefore, if I change this to existing, I will have an empty list as I don't have any elements in that phase. Click on OK, and now the next window is the schedule properties. There are several settings organized in the tabs above. In the first tab, we have to choose the fields of the columns, and the available fields may change according to the category of the schedule. As this is a room schedule, we are going to add the following columns. Area. Then click in this button to add it to the table. And then the others will be name, the number of the room, and level. After, we can use these buttons to change the order of the columns, and the top field will be at the left of the schedule, and the bottom field at the right end. Press OK, and the table was automatically created. Now, let's see how to edit some properties here. First, look at the sorting. I'm going to click on Sorting Grouping, and I can sort by one or several parameters. Suppose I want to separate the rooms of each floor. In this case, level is the main sorting field. And also set ascending. First, I display the rooms at the ground floor, and then the rooms in the first floor. Next, I'm going to add a second sorting field. Let's say I want to have the room numbers in numerical order, and at the end I click on OK. OK, nice. Then go again to the same options panel, and this time I'm going to check this box header. And the rooms separate in two groups regarding the level they are located. Checking blank line adds an extra space below the last row of each group. Below each group, we can also add a footer. And we can choose from several options. Let's use this one by default, title, count and totals. And it's going to display the title of the group, then it counts the number of rows, and adds a cell for the totals. Click on OK, and let's see the result. Here we can see the title, 0 ground floor, the number of rooms, but nothing is shown for the area. Actually, if we want to calculate the total area, we need an extra step. And that's what we are going to see now. Go to Formatting. And notice that these are actually the panels in the schedule properties. I choose Area here, and where it says No Calculation, I'm going to change it to Calculate Totals. And there are more options here that I may need in a different situation. I close the window, and here you can see that I added a total area for each level. Now let's see a couple of tips here. This first one is useful when I don't know the location of the rooms. When I click in a cell, the corresponding room is selected when I switch to a floor plan view, for example this one. Also, I want to tell you how I can change the text of the schedule. It's easy. On Appearance, switch Schedule Default to a specific text. Then you can set a different text size for the title, header or the body. Okay, now I'm going to create a schedule about information of the furniture in the project. I go again to Schedules Quantities and create a new schedule. In this window, I'm going to choose Furniture in the category List. And this time, the fields that I'm going to add will be those: family and type, count and cost. Then click on OK to generate the schedule. So here we can see all the furniture elements that I have in the project. And on count, the number of items of each type. But all the rows have only one item, and even some elements are repeated. So how can I group the elements of the same type and count them? To do this, we can go to Sorting, Grouping, and notice that this box is checked. Itemize every instance. I need to turn this off in order to group similar items in the same cell. Then on Sort By, I choose Family and Type, click OK, and the list is much smaller now. The elements of the same type are represented in the same cell with the quantity that they exist in the drawing. Now, let's see how we can calculate costs of the items within a schedule. First, I'm going to increase the size of the first column, so I can see better the text here. Then, at the right, I have the column for the parameter cost, and there are two ways to insert values here. I can insert the cost of each item directly in the cell, or add it in the properties of a specific family type. In the Identity Data section, there is the value for the cost, so I can change it here if I wish, and it updates on the schedule. Also, the cost that I put here only applies in this project. And most of the time the families have by default the parameter cost empty. Now, let's learn how we can make simple calculations in schedules, in this case for cost estimation. As you remember, the values in the cost parameter correspond to just one item. For example, I have 18 elements of this chair, but 25 is just the cost of a single one. So in this example, I'm going to add a new column with the total cost for each family type. Let's go to Fields, and this time I will add a calculated parameter. Click on this button, then insert a name for the new column, for example total cost. Then the type of value, I'm going to choose currency, as it's what we need. And for the formula, I click here to check out which are my available parameters, and I can see that there is only one, cost. Now you may think, but I also want to use the count parameter here, because what I want is to calculate count times the cost. That makes sense, but unfortunately, count is not available for formulas, as Revit uses a different method, which we are going to cover right away. So first, we will use only cost, and what happens is that I copy the values of each row to this new column. Then what I need is going to formatting, select total cost, and where it says no calculation, I change to calculate totals. And what happens is that the values are multiplied by the number of items. Finally, to add a cell for the total cost of the furniture, it's in sorting grouping, and you can see below a checkbox for the grand totals. I click on it, I can set a custom title if I want, and at this moment I will show the title, count and totals. Click in OK, and this is how it appears in the table. If I don't need to show the total number of items, just choose title and totals instead. The column cost, I can rename it to unit cost to distinguish it from the total cost. Sheets. Now we are going to learn about sheets in Revit. A sheet, as you probably expect, is a view for printing the drawings of a project. Sheets can be found in the project browser, and if there isn't any one yet, we have to right-click and create a new sheet. Then, in the window that opens, we can choose one of these title blocks. Here, you can see there are two models for two different sizes of paper, A3 and A1, or we could just choose a blank sheet without any title block, this one called Known. I'm going to open the standard A1 sheet, and this is how it appears. Now, apart from these options, we can load the title block from the family libraries, here in Load. Then, where you have all the categories, there is a folder named Title Blocks, and then you can see these ones to use in different paper sizes. And there is also a preview when we click in each title block. Anyway, let's go back to analyze the sample for an A1 paper. This sample, as you can notice in the logo here, is provided by Autodesk, and probably you want to create a personalized one, with your company brand, for example. But okay, we will see how to do this after. Now we are just going to look at the parameters that we can edit. First, we can rename the sheet title in the project browser. This window shows up and I can change either the number and the name. And look that they update automatically in the title block. Then we can edit the other parameters by clicking in each of them and put the name that we desire. Now, we are going to learn how to attach views to the sheet. As the title is floor plans, it's logical to add a floor plan here, of course. And you will notice that it's pretty basic. Just click and hold one of the floor plans and drag it inside the title block. So you can see it's very simple. Now, each view is composed by a title, in this case 0 ground floor and view number 1. Then where I have the drawing is the viewport. Basically, it's a window that shows everything that I have visible in that particular view. But now notice how the floor plan only fills one part of the viewport. The reason for that is because I have these elevation elements over there, and the size of the viewport varies according with the area occupied by the drawing. Therefore, I'm going to switch to the ground floor plan and hide in view this category of elements. Now look, when I return to the sheet, the drawing stayed in the same position, but this time the viewport is smaller. Now it's adjusted just to the floor plan, as the elevations are now hidden. How can I edit the position of the viewport and the title? This is a bit tricky. By selecting the title, I can drag it to wherever I want. But if I want to shorten or stretch the line, I need to select the viewport instead. And now I can easily change the size of the line by moving these grips. Another important feature in every project drawing is the scale, and you can see that for this view is 1/100. It's just a scale that you adjust in the bottom of the screen in the view of the floor plan. Although if I need a different scale, it's easy to change. Select a viewport, and in the properties the view scale is the first parameter. Change it to 1/50. And you can see all the dimensions change to double size. Also, notice that the scale in the title of the drawing, as well as in the title block, update automatically, and you don't need to worry about that. Finally, I only need to place the viewport according with the position of the line. Now, in a sheet, we can add more than one drawing. Remember that this sheet is called floor plans, and the reason is because I want to put both drawings of the ground floor and the first floor. So now I need the first floor, and this time I will show you a different way to insert a view into a sheet. Go to the View tab, and on the panel Sheet Composition, I'm going to click on View, and then you can see all this list with all the views. I'm going to choose the floor plan first floor. This time, you can see that the scale of this drawing is smaller, 1/100, and also the indication of the scale in the title block tells us to look at each drawing, as they are with different scales. I'm going to change the scale of the first floor to 1/50 like I did previously with the ground floor, and then you can notice that after changing the scale, these elevation elements are visible again. So I'm going to edit the view, and I can do it by double-click inside the viewport, as with this I can have access to the view. Basically, I can work like I was in the floor plan view. I can insert, delete or move elements. Anyway, I'm going to hide the sections from the view, and the viewport is resized again to fit the visible area. And I just need to move the viewport a bit down to be in line with the ground floor and the title with the line. I can snap with the one of the ground floor. In this way they look better. Now, in the last part of this tutorial, we will learn roughly how to modify one of these sheets that come by default with Revit. It's easy. Now you can double-click in the title block and you realize that a new window opens. It's actually the family file for this specific title block. And there we can modify anything that we need in this family, in this case this title block. For example, could change the position of lines, erase them, create new ones, etc. As an example, let's get rid of the symbol of Autodesk and replace with a different one. I'm going to select it and press delete. Next, I'm going to insert an image from my computer, and let's choose the logo of CAD in Black, this one. Okay. The image is now here, and then I'm going to resize the image with the grips that I have here. Then I need a text next to the image in the tab Create in the ribbon. I'm going to type CAD in Black, click on an empty space, then I click on Modify to exit the command, and I'm going to move the text to fit with the symbol. When the title block is ready, I have to save it. Go to File and save it as a family. Then choose a name for it, and now we can use the title block when we need. Going back to our file again, then now if I want to create a new sheet with this template, just repeat the process that I showed you before, just do the normal process and load the family with the logo of CAD in Black. It's this one. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching and don't forget to subscribe to CAD in Black to watch the full list of tutorials for beginners in Revit. There are also AutoCAD tutorials if you are interested. For now it's all, thank you very much and see you next time.